How's it going, guys?
What the fuck? Low energy intro started out with a yawn. All right.
I had a yawn, and you're like, one. I'm like, worst time for a yawn ever.
Well, and the best part is
welcome.
I was trying to convince him to say, "Welcome to Slash Yell," where Krug never hits record on time.
I hit
and
record.
and then you hit record.
Oh.
Welcome to Slash Yell, where we continue our time-honored tradition of never starting the right way. We talk about MMO games and news and put our own opinions in there just for good measure. My name is Adrock, and as always, this week I have with me Krug.
Hi, my name is Karug, and I'm here with Adrock this week, just like normal. And with me here, I have Adrock and Indigo.
Well, that was fucking weird. That was worse.
That was a smooth handoff. That was a smooth handoff. You dropped the baton.
No, man.
Well, you know what?
I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry.
I gave a
Part of our
character.
Olympic
This
team.
is why I'm not in the Olympics.
I
Sorry.
gave a character. That's what I did.
I'm Indigo, and I'm here. I apparently.
What's up? That was
Okay,
worse than
Krug,
mine by a mile.
how was your week?
Mine was great. I went to a fun little party where we had some drinks, had some great food, had some fun conversation. This is something I didn't say about this party last time. So this party is for a girl and her boyfriend, both of whom we're friends with. But they have another group of friends that I don't know very well at all. And I think I've only hung out with them one other time. And so I was driving to this party and I was like, what are these people like again? I totally forgot. Like, what do they talk about? What are they interested in? And I pull up to the bar and I get out and I go find the table. And as I'm approaching the table, and they're like, oh yeah, and this thing in Pathfinder. And I'm like, right, they're huge nerds. Got it. Great. Cool. I'm set. So yeah, that was fun. Got to talk to those folks and have some fun drinky poos. There's this guy that got super schwasty pants. And that was, I guess, funny for me. But, you know, that was my week. And working. I was working a bunch. What about you,
Indigo, how was your week?
buddy?
Yeah, all right. So I went to Scare LA yesterday, which was a ton of fun. A little bit pricey for what they actually had there. They had the whole Pasadena Convention Center, but it wasn't really utilized very well. Like, they had really large lanes, which was really nice, but then they had like huge sections that were just empty, and it was like, oh, all right, okay, that's the thing.
Krug, you're mooted and you're still Desarian.
I changed that. I don't know why it's not Krug. But I'm not
Wow.
muted.
Anyway, what else about Scare LA did you enjoy?
Well, the other weird thing about Scare LA is the biggest draw, or like the biggest thing that they had there was Elvira, and they gave her a ton. Like, they made lines. Like, they thought like it was this huge whole thing. Like, the whole center area was that. But then they also had something super weird, which was there. You would go to the other building, and they would put headphones in your ears, and then they would blindfold you. Then they'd put plastic bags over your hands, and then they would walk you around the convention center while you couldn't touch anything, hear anything, and see anything. It was really
them
weird.
Trying to do their own like escape room.
No, because
deal?
No, because people were just walking them around the convention center, just like getting them disoriented to find out like where they were. It was
What?
really, I don't know what it was like, and I didn't see a sign up or like where people were like going to do this. It was the weirdest thing, and I was intrigued to figure out what it was going on. And then they also had something. Speaking of escape rooms, they also had a mobile escape rooms where they like drive a bus over to you,
That's
like
cool.
an old school bus, and that is a puzzle room. And they're like, oh, 22 minutes for 22 minutes, and you get it's $10 per person to do it. And we're like, oh, that's pretty cool. Except for like their sign that said 22 minutes, $10 per person was made out of blue painter's tape, like just on the side of the van. And I was like, ugh, if that's how they're advertising
That's
it,
creepy.
yeah, like if that's their advertisement, like what's the inside like? Is it like, yeah, you actually have to escape by like not dying from the giant, jagged, sharp knives that are in the room. You know what I mean? Like, it's like,
You have to open the door without cutting yourself and getting tetanus.
yeah. And there was also a kids escape room, and I was like, nope, that's not something I want.
I want to see that.
I don't want to subject children to this. Like,
Is it bad that I would subject my own child to that?
Yes,
Yes.
it's awful.
It's probably just like simple kid-friendly things. I don't think it'd be actually horror-filled.
yeah, I don't know.
Sorry, I had to look on my face because my own week, I've been trying to find some way of watching the Olympics. Because out of the three of us, I like the Olympics. I'm part of the minority group that actually likes watching these things as much as they can the whole way through. And today, since NBC can go suck a nut, I have to go and learn it all through osmosis, through Reddit and stuff. And I'm missing so much, you guys. Vietnam's first gold medal, Kosovo's first gold medal. There's a Dutch cyclist who literally went head over heels over her own handlebars in a downhill bike race.
Really?
Cracked her spine in 3 places.
Oh my god.
That was live. Like, that happened.
No one died this year, right?
No one's died, but we've had a German gymnast like rip a tendon in their knee, then came back and helped the German men's team place. The French guy broke his leg on the
that was
on the pommel, not the pommel horse. It's the pommel horse.
Yeah.
This Dutch cyclist broke her spine.
Jesus Christ!
I'm missing so much carnage at the Olympics. We haven't even gotten to the swimming parts yet.
Is there carnage usually in swimming? Like, I imagine that's the
normally
one.
Just carnage.
Yeah, sometimes they accidentally let piranhas into the pool, and so it gets really.
First one to the end wins the gold medal. We reach the piranhas.
That's the most racist accent I've ever heard.
Hey, you know what? At least I'm not speaking Bayou.
Don't want you to.
I'm not ugly. I'm beautiful.
I don't want you to. Super don't want you to.
Okay, so if you didn't watch Corner Up, that is Adarok's frustration with Suicide Squad, and the reason he's bringing it up is
talk about it.
I have the complete opposite feeling as he did about the movie, and so he's just trying to instigate an argument.
I really am. I'm not even gonna try and hide it.
Instead of instigating an argument, why don't we talk about MMO news?
Position, but here's one we can all agree on: how fucking ridiculous Black Desert's becoming right now.
Yes. Okay. Cool.
That was a nice transition.
Why do you have to mention it? We should have kept going.
Yeah.
Because no one took the baton and went with it. I had to.
It was good. I liked it. Yeah, Black Desert's fucked up right now. This is the first time. There are two funny things going on here. One, this is the first time I've ever seen an in-game protest inside an MMO. And number two, this is the first time that a developer has created a feature that allowed people to fucking have an in-game protest. They have little signs. Anyways. So
did they actually give them like signs?
Yeah, they have signs. They have. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's back up. Go to the beginning. Black Desert has introduced a feature. Well, let me rephrase that. Black Desert is planning on introducing a feature that will allow players to buy cosmetic items from their cash shop and turn around and sell them on the auction house and, presumably like one-on-one trading to other players for in-game money. So it's not like those cash shop items are going to be like soulbound, basically. They're going to be tradable. And Black Desert says that they're doing this because, and this is a quote from their blog, there will always let me try that one more time. There will always be players who, for whatever reason, do not get to experience all the features Black Desert offers, including Pearl Shop items. Pearl Shop is their cash shop. Adding a mechanic that grants access to Pearl Shop items with in-game currency will allow more players to enjoy such content. Okay. So, everybody is really mad about that because basically what they're doing is ruining the economy. Black Desert has a very important trade economy. Like, money is important in that game. It's not like
other games.
It's not like Wildstar where they just add a new currency for every fucking little like, oh hey, we released this update, here are the 3 currencies that we owe you for this update. Like, it's not like WoW where there's a currency for every like 10 levels. Like, it's not like that. It's an important part of the game.
World of Warcraft where it's literally like, here's 1,000 gold for like blowing your nose. Like,
yeah, right? Exactly. You can't just like, okay, I'm going to go farm currency for a day and then have enough to last me for the rest of the year. Like, that's not Black Desert Online. Money is an important thing. And that kind of sets the tone for why people are so incredibly upset about this. So people are upset. They're going into the game and they're taking their banners, their guild banners, which you can customize. And so now their guild banners say stuff like, pay to win or down with pay to win or whatever. There's an image in the show notes if you want to look at it. It's hilarious. It's literally a ton of people in a town with these banners. And then as they're customizing these banners, like if they control an area, if a guild controls an area, their banner appears over that area. So you have like fuck pay to win over an area. Like, it's like people are just infuriated by it. And it's bringing a lot of attention to it because even if you're in the game and you don't know this is happening because you're just like a casual player, you know it's happening because everyone's talking about it. So it's messed up. Adrock found some really more messed up stuff regarding this subject.
It gets crazier.
Yeah. So
first off, it's not just the in-game protests. I found it funny that they actually told me they gave in-game protesting signs. Right now, there's a thing happening to other social media platforms concerning Black Desert Online and also their subreddit, where mods and devs of the game are banning players in mass, and they're locking any and all discussions about the issues happening right now. They're talking about it on other MMO-centric subreddits, going, dude, we're from there, we're active users on there, people are, or even a mod was like, yeah, I don't know what to do because I'm getting mass emails saying, like, why am I banned, blah, 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 like, and why, and like, they're basically censoring any and all news about it and all discussion about it, whether it's rally the forces and pitchforks or let's settle down, guys. It gets even crazier than that, where a prominent Black Desert supporter, Lazy Peon, who's known for some of his World of Warcraft stuff and whatnot, had big opinions, and I'll be right back live until the door. You get to take over.
So yeah, it's like doing the whole banning people thing is basically like admitting that you're doing something fucked up.
Yeah, right.
I don't see anything past that. When you start banning people for voicing an opinion on something, I don't see anything else. I can't look at the facts objectively. I can't do any research about it. I literally just see that you're banning people for talking about something. It must be fucked up. Even if the facts don't point to it being fucked up. It's literally the worst move I can possibly think of. So yeah, we're going to link some videos on people talking about it in the show notes. Adrock also found something really interesting regarding this, where some EU players are saying that the EUR Lex laws on deceptive advertising are supposedly being violated. So we're not entirely sure if Black Desert, by making this change, violates any kind of law whatsoever. But EU players are saying that they can rightfully request a full refund of the money that they spent on the game because they're switching this payment model. And apparently I don't know, we'd have to look into the laws a little bit better. Like, we're all NA, so we don't necessarily know anything about EU laws. Maybe like through osmosis, and like every once in a while we learn something, but far from fluent in European law. But yeah, first of all, I really hope it happens because I want to see what happens. Like, if they made this choice and didn't keep track of what they were doing well enough, I want to see how they handle it. If they're going to revert the change, or if they're going to just pay them out and be like, all right, here's all your money back. Like, because that's going to be a huge hit, right? Like,
oh, massive hit.
It's going to be so much money.
It depends on how many people are going to actually move forward and actually deal with it. Like, because it's not like it's an easy process. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, well, you failed at this, so I want, and everyone just automatically gets to put an online, button.
Oh,
and
sure.
Refund. So
yeah,
it's that. But if that happens, it's just going to give them really bad publicity. You know what I mean? Like, as a whole. And the fact is that I wanted to go back and talk a little bit more about the forum stuff that you mentioned. I agree 100% with you. Like, there's no way that you can sit there and legitimately block absolutely anyone talking about a specific subject and not have people just automatically saying, well, they're doing something wrong and they know it and they don't want people to talk about it. Like, which all that does is add fuel to the fire. Like, you should be a decent community manager or be a decent, like, person online and be able to deal with that. Like, not decent in like the sense of morality, but decent as in, like, understand that this is just going to be bad for the company if we start banning people because they're discussing why our game has gone free to play or pay to win.
Right. Like, and it's, I could understand if they were like making death threats or if they were like, doing stuff that shouldn't be done regardless of what the game situation is. Yeah. But this isn't that. Like, they might be angry, like, oh, this isn't something that I want and I'm gonna be angry about it, but it's not crossing the line. This isn't banning people that are crossing a line. This is banning people that are crossing a line of like publicity as opposed to a line of like being a good person,
Yeah,
I don't know, they're fucked. Like, this is, I'm normally not a naysayer type person.
What if this is their way of going about what WoW did with month tokens? Because they said, hey, look, you can buy a month token, which is, I'm going to pay $15 to get whatever the highest market value for a month is.
Right.
Maybe that's their means.
But I don't think, like, you can have infinite currency in WoW and it's still not pay to win. Like, you can't buy those things with gold. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Money's a completely different thing in this game.
Yeah.
That'd be like being able to buy a month token and then spending that gold on like end tier raid gear. You know what I mean? Like they're two completely different situations as far as money is concerned. Adrock came back with food because he hates us, so he's gonna eat on stream like a fucking savage, dirty little pleb, like licking his fingers like a little piggy. Read.
Wow.
Hey Adrock, how's it going, buddy? You're muted. Nobody can hear you. So, that's the
What
thing.
was that all about?
Nothing. What are you talking about?
Are we still on BDO or we moved on?
No, we're still on BDO. We're still talking about how horrible of an idea literally all of this is.
Have we gotten to the European law stuff?
Yeah,
Yes.
Do you know anything about it? Because I don't know anything about the laws specifically.
So,
Talking with your mouth.
apologies. I got a going away papas ball from my mom.
Nobody knows what that is.
Yep.
Cuban food, it's amazing.
All right.
So there is a very, very, very popular and well-used law in Europe that you cannot false advertise. People will complain about it here, and they'll go, "Oh, you false advertised, and I want money back." There's a specific law that if things change enough, or if you're under false advertising, you can get in some seriously big trouble. And some BDO players are citing that the Eurlex laws technically work in this case. Now, I'm going to say technically and kind of and maybe a lot in the next few paragraphs.
Yeah.
Because it gets a little weird. So I don't know whether the BDO stuff falls under this, because technically it is purchased stuff from the Europeans with European money, but the law really, it goes into like technically, thanks to your money, go fuck yourself law round, because it only really refers to physical purchases, which shows that the law is not either updated or they didn't bother to update it, because in the last 10 years or so, there's been a really big rise in purchased items online, whether it's through video games or through Amazon or through Tencent, anything like that. Alibaba, where it's become more and more. That's the actual name of the site, Alibaba.
I know. I've gone there. I've gone there quite a few times.
And every country has certain laws, and they all seem to be very slow in the uptake when it comes to the rights and what you can and can't get out of it, and what's considered deceptive advertising.
So this doesn't, for what it's worth, this doesn't limit anything to physical items. It says the characteristics of goods or services. So the
precedent so far had been set on physical items.
Yeah, but that's not what it says
on digital items yet.
Right.
No, this was discussion within like the actual people that have dealt with this issue before. Like it all depends on the company, and technically they don't have to abide by it because it doesn't not say it, but it hasn't really been covered for digital purchases like this before. It's been covered for like Amazon and everything else. It's not so much video games. It's really kind of weird.
Yeah, I mean, technically, a video game can be considered to be a physical thing because you can buy the disc.
Yeah,
so, I don't know. This is now becoming like uber speculative.
But the reason that they're saying is that if they are under the Eurlex laws, EU players, listen up, you could potentially go to BDO and go, I want all of my money back. Not the money I spent on the game, the money I spent on every purchase I made for this game. Because you have now false advertised to me. And granted, it's been 6 months since the launch. I don't know what the expiration date on something like that is, but it's possible. So if you're a EU player listening to us talking about BDO and this kind of stuff, keep an eye on this. We'll try and keep an eye on it and see what happens, but I don't know. It's been a lot of talk about it.
Well, it's going to be hard to keep an eye on it if they're going to fucking censor everybody who starts talking about it. Like,
that's also true.
Yeah.
There's going to have to be an unofficial subreddit called Black Desert Online, the community hatred version or something, where they just like don't invite any of the Black Desert people and just trash them.
You're now banned from Pyongyang.
What? What?
There's a subreddit, Pyongyang, r/Pyongyang, which is the North Korea capital. If you don't agree with them, you're banned from Pyongyang.
Gotcha.
In fact, I have to explain that.
Shut up.
You international. You don't follow international stuff, do you?
No.
Anyway, that's mostly about it for BDO, right? Nothing else big. I mean, the Kunoichi Ninja stuff came out. A few weeks ago, we talked about that.
Yep.
This is completely just trying to talk away from the brand new content. So,
yep.
Best of luck, guys and gals.
GG more like, but whatever.
Right.
So Blade and Soul, the game that I always get confused with Black Desert Online because they both start with B, has a new content.
That's apparently the easiest thing to get confused.
It is for me. I just fuck it up incessantly. They have another costume contest that has completed, and you can go check out the winner. It is exactly what you would expect it to look like. Like, before you click the link in the show notes, just think in your head, what is Blade and Soul? Like, what is the art style of Blade and Soul? What am I going to see when I click this link? And then you're going to click the link and you're going to be like, I was 100% correct. There's absolutely nothing about this that defied my expectations. They're cool, though. Like, okay, I'm going to start off by saying I don't like the winner. I think the winner is the worst. It's very cliche. But then you scroll down and you see some of the runners up, and they're really good, and I don't understand why they didn't win. Like, the one by Ariona, Areonia, is really, really good.
You mean the most cliche-looking one out of all of them, not the Alice in Wonderland-inspired winner?
No. No, how is that cliche-looking? That looks really cool. It's got a little octopus thing.
Steampunk.
Yeah, it is. It's not generic. I think it's cool steampunk. Anyways, the link's in the chat if you want to take a look. The link is in the show notes if you're listening to the podcast or watching the YouTube video. Check them out. There's not really much else to say about it. They're kind of adorable. Moving on to Wildstar, Red Moon Rising. Have you played any Red Moon Rising on PTR, Ed Rock?
No, I just have not had the chance.
None of us are really subscribed either.
No, I'm still subscribed till the end of this month.
Oh, are you really? I did not know.
I had bought so many boxes way back when.
Yep.
Oh.
They just kept stacking on each other.
Yep. So I can't, and you can't, but he could.
Yep, gotcha. I technically still can. But you know what, though? I did hop on a week or two ago to try and get used to it again, because it's been a bit. Whenever you go back to a new game that has a different combat system, I might have to start talking back to our friends at Black Dagger Society so I can get into Red Moon raids, because I missed the raiding. Like, we actually had a really cool talk about it in the World of Warcraft guild I'm in, about not just, this game's not WoW, it sucks ass. It's more like, well, what about this game? What do you think about this game? And we talked about that, and I mentioned the raid, and I got about 8 people in chat going, really? I haven't played it, but that sounds kind of cool. I'm like, fuck yeah, it does. Space pirates.
Yeah, it's really
undead space pirates.
It's really easy to get people into Wildstar.
It's hard to keep them when they get bored of the generic leveling, but
right.
It's not a knock on it. It's generic in the sense of it's just like World of Warcraft. If you're used to that leveling, it's nowhere near as grindy as Eastern MMOs. It's like that.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same. So, anyways, the Red Moon Rising raid preview is up on their site, which is kind of a little lackluster in my opinion. Not the raid itself, but the preview that they released. Because there's been for months like footage from the PTR of the actual boss fights, and like you can see like what all the bosses look like, what their mechanics are. You can watch people trying to figure out like how to beat them. And all you get in this post is just like images, like still images of the bosses without any combat happening. It's just like, this is this boss. He's quirky in this way. And like, I don't give a fuck. Like, why aren't you telling me what they do or how to beat them? What is wrong with you?
I can't say because it's under NDA, but I just had another reason to get super excited for this raid.
Okay, well,
all I know is
thanks for bringing that up.
The only thing I can say is I can say Swabby Skeely, that video's been out for a while, but Robo Nation, that might be my, if I can get in and try it, that might be my favorite raid fight in a long while.
Cool.
Dude, this raid is fucking, the raid mechanics are awesome. It's gonna be cool.
Yeah, there's videos of them, so you know.
Yeah.
That and Mordecai Redmond's back.
Yes, which we know about that.
So we have links in the show notes to some of the footage. We also have links to the post, but really the post is useless. If you're interested in Red Moon Rising, take a look at the videos that are out there of people actually doing the raid. Because first of all, it looks really fun. And second of all, it's really pretty, even though it's in PTR and I don't think it's done. And actually the video that I posted, the timestamp that I posted the video at, is a part of the video where these guys are running into the engineer boss, or the engineers. Red Moon Engineers is apparently one of the bosses, and they're running towards to pull it. And so they pull it, but they're standing on this platform, and the platform just dissolves, and they all fall down and die. And it's the fucking funniest thing, and they all bust up laughing. And then one guy's like, "I told you, the platforms." And we were just like, "Oh, you cheeky little Asian guy." So yeah, that was funny. Watch the video. Also, so that's available August 17th. Also, shortly after Red Moon Rising, there's going to be Red Moon Mutiny, which is going to be the next piece of content update. And they go over what is available in Red Moon Mutiny. Like you can, it's going to release the rest of your class set, so you'll have an option of completing those things. They don't, unfortunately, give an actual release date. They just kind of say, coming soon after Red Moon Rising. Yay! So yeah, it's basically, you're going to get more loot, and this is what they say. Deal with the true threat once and for all. Don't know what that means.
Interesting.
Dun.
So,
Are they just gonna skip all the way to the end game?
Yeah,
like,
right?
Just like they're like, hey, we had all of this planned, and this was gonna be the final, but fuck it, let's do the final now.
yeah, right. And then you wake up and it's all a dream. Woo! Great ending.
Have you guys? Are you guys ready to raid in this game at all, or were you still kind of prepping for it?
Not even close,
No.
bro.
Dude. First of all, I would have to get into game and remember how to play any of the classes that I have.
True.
Because like
I think I could still play medic. I just, don't have gear. Remember, I had this problem. Remember when I played Wildstar and I had the add-ons that would manage your gear and they'd always fuck up, so I'd always like sell gear that I needed.
Yes.
And one time I ended up with no gear whatsoever.
Yep. I
You remember that? That was good times.
That's pretty funny.
And by good times, I
But
mean
I
that was
mean-
fucking horrible.
On their prerequisite process, their attunement process, you guys are still on that, huh?
yes.
No, I
Finish
think I
it.
was...
Oh, because no, one of us didn't finish it. One of you two didn't finish it because we needed to kill Mordecai.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
I think that was the
Exactly.
last thing I had to do. At
Yeah.
least in that step was to kill Mordecai, but we never did it.
Because Mordecai's a
God
dick.
damn it.
Because
Mordecai's a dick.
And
I-
it's not even that his actual mechanics are hard. It's the middle mechanics that are hard.
the
the
terraformer
lag.
mechanics.
The lag with it.
I
Hey, you want to
literally-
spike up to 200 lag. Those balls are gonna stun you. Good luck. Bye.
I never had trouble with the terraformer. Like, I thought the terraformer was fine. It's just the groups we were in would just wipe on the terraformer. I'm just like,
Yep.
It was the lava. The lava pools were the bitch and a half.
Yeah.
they weren't. They're not that bad.
Yeah,
It's really
especially
not.
because really it's not that difficult because all you have to do is run to the inside most part, and you had enough like 'cause it
Clearance,
was a
yeah, but-
you had enough time that you were able to actually go faster than the beams, and they would never actually have lava on the far edge, so you were just needed to hold on to the edge the whole time, and that
Yeah.
was it.
It wasn't that bad.
It was hard for some people. Some people, it was
like
a little bit more
Adrock.
difficult.
Like Adrock.
I
think that's
which
the
one of us
end of
was the Raider in
slash-
Wildstar?
Oh, you got carried. You got
You
carried.
did get carried.
You got carried hard. I think it's time for LFG. We're done with slash zone. We're gonna move on to LFG.
Wow,
LFG.
that was literally it for
Yeah.
slash zone. Wow.
Yeah,
But we have a lot of-
Black Desert stuff.
We
man.
have a lot of Crowfall stuff to go over, so that's gonna take some
Yeah.
time.
Oh,
Plus-
you do? Gotcha. I've
plus-
never
plus I
heard
need
of
your-
this game.
Plus, I need your help with this because this is just baffling to me.
What?
Okay.
So
Man.
there is a game coming out that we've covered once or twice called Darkfall: Rise of Aegon.
Oh, you didn't let me explain
Now-
what LFG is. I thought you were talking about something else. LFG is the part
Oh,
of the
sorry.
part of the show where we discuss beta games. There, that's it. Is that so hard to fucking let me say? Okay,
There
fucking
we go.
prick.
What? Wow.
God.
So Darkfall: Rise of Aegon is a game that's going into free beta soon,
Asshole.
and we put the link in the description. We talked about it a few times. It's a dated-looking game,
Mhm.
but it's promising a more hardcore dark fantasy style combat-centric MMO. And that seemed all well and fine. I do like nice pretty graphics, but if the game is fun, I'll take that over anything else.
Yeah.
Sure.
So then I started looking into it because they're discussing it on these forums that I'm finding, and someone goes, "I thought, why is it in beta? It's already out." And I read this and I'm like, "What the fuck?" And they find out that Darkfall has an expansion that came out like not terribly long ago. Like, wait, what the fuck? So I start looking for it, and sure enough, there's 3 Darkfalls.
Three
all
of them.
by, I believe, the same developer. So there's Darkfall: Rise of Aegon that we're talking about right now at the moment, going into free beta. They're
Mhm.
talking about some of the balance changes that are happening and this and that and whatnot. Then there's the original Darkfall that launched in 2013, and they have an expansion out. I don't know how long ago it's been. I forget. I think it's been about a year or so. But it's called the Unholy Wars.
Yeah.
Supposedly, it's still active. Then on their Wikipedia, they talk about Darkfall New Dawn. I can't tell if that's an expansion for the previous Darkfall or it's a brand new thing. But if you go to it, it has its own website saying it's in development.
Yeah, that's weird. So there's Darkfall, Darkfall Rise of Argon, and Darkfall New Dawn.
Yes.
It seems
And
like
they all are
New Dawn looks way, way better than the other two.
So yeah, New Dawn is the most recent one. They're still in development. They have an option to play on the indie dev server, but they're all three offering different experiences in Darkfall. They all have supposedly this PvP centric idea, whereas Unholy Wars is the currently active one. Rise of Argon, they're trying for more the dark fantasy style, like hardcore style PvP. You die, and your shit gets looted. And then New Dawn is supposed to be the Crowfall Lights, where it's all about building your own empires and like in the similar vein of Albion Online.
Why are they making
kind of
so
game.
many games concurrently?
And I don't know if this is, and from what I can tell, it's the same developers. I think that's wrong in the case of New Dawn, but they're all under the Darkfall banner.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like something's happening, and I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
With this property. I'm severely confused by Darkfall, and that's all the Darkfalls.
But New Dawn is like so far back, they're not even sure if they're going to be able to release a product yet.
Yeah, this is the most recent in development. Darkfall, the whole Unholy Wars, is supposedly currently active, and it looks exactly the same as Darkfall: Rise of Argon or Aegon, which is going to be going into free beta soon.
Huh.
Are you following me here?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm
Okay.
following you.
I honestly thought I lost you there.
No, well, I mean, I'm glazing over because I'm just like, what?
I'm trying to read their FAQ and figure out why this game exists. Like that's my goal right now. Because it feels like Rise of Argon shouldn't exist. That's my assessment of this situation.
Or from what I can tell, it's all the same developers. Like I said earlier, it's because if it was different developers or different publishers, I could see it's going into like legal battles. But it's supposedly
they're not the same developers.
They're not the same developers.
The Darkfall Rise of Argon is Big Picture Games.
Okay.
And Darkfall New Dawn is Uber Games, but it's spelled UB3R Games.
Ugh.
Unless those are two branches of the same studio.
And Darkfall Unholy War is Adventuring?
I don't know. I don't have. That's so
Okay,
I'm
so this is what happened. Is the company that owns the rights went up to 3 different places and said, all right, guys, you make the best game based off of this one line. PvP-centric hardcore. Right? And they have to make...
Go.
And you get the title, Darkfall. And they're all like, dude... And they made their own games, and then they're going to turn around, and the developer's going to pick the best out of it, or the company that owns the rights going to pick the best one out of it and say, that's the game we use.
I don't think that's how it's going to work, but...
Yeah, right?
That sounds a little stupid as fuck.
But it also looks like it's the same world they're drawing from, so maybe you're right on that.
Dude, I don't know. This is all confusing
This is
to me.
just such a weird thing, and I don't know if there's someone that's compiled the timeline of Darkfall or gives a proper explanation for all this.
Yeah. I just want a list
No
of things.
idea.
I just want a list of comparisons between the 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want someone to make a spreadsheet. That's bad, Jake. That
If I
compares
go
all 3 of
Darkfall-
these games, so I can figure out which one I want to keep track of. Because fuck if I'm going to keep track of 3 Darkfall games. I don't even want to keep track of 2 Star Wars games. Like Darkfall better step the fuck off.
Darkfall Unholy Wars is definitely still active. Their last update was in March. You can technically still buy the game. It's definitely active.
Rise of Argon, New Dawn, Unholy Wars. Wow.
I don't know. We should just move on. I just wanted to make sure that people were interested. If they're interested in Darkfall: The Rise of Aegon, it's going into free beta. Just don't mistake it for New Dawn, which is not even in alpha yet, or Unholy Wars, which may or may not be still active.
God damn. All right. Well, that's confusing as shit. I'm going to just apologize for confusing everybody with that piece of news.
I tried to make it as streamlined as I could, but this whole thing
No. I'm not saying it's your fault. I'm just saying that's confusing. Like, that is a confusing situation.
Yep. I mean, it's not like it would be the same as if we had 8 different World of Warcrafts. Like, fuck.
That would
Finally got our Dark Below expansion for...
World of
Could you
Warcraft.
imagine instead of expansions, like you got like brand new games?
Oh god,
It wouldn't be nearly as big. I bet Vanilla would be the biggest one, as we can tell by this whole fucking Nostralia
all the
bullshit.
bitching and moaning.
Yeah.
Fire resist gear.
Indigo, do you wanna vomit Crowfall all over us?
No, I don't know anything about this game, Crowfall. What is
Oh.
this about?
Crowfall.
I've never-
He's gonna just put all over her face, neck, and chest.
Crowfall is a new StarCraft expansion. That is that not what we're talking about? No?
Yeah, I don't know. That sounds about right. All right, but we might as well just call this like the weekly section of like Indigo fucking just jizzes Crowfall all over you.
Yeah.
Indigo's Crowfall glory hole.
Dibs on
Just
dibs
art
on
craft,
not
put it
making
in
art
there
for
and let
that.
him take care of the rest.
Dibs
All right,
on not
so-
making art for that.
All right, so let's get right into it. We got a founders update this week, and they kind of go in the founders update. It's a really long update, and you don't actually have to be a founder or a person that's actually physically supporting them with money to get these updates. You can actually just go to their website, and they're just going to be open and honest with absolutely everyone about this. So they basically have a list of top priorities, then what's next, and then if they have time, they'll also include the following. So their top priorities right now are working on the increased size of current world and content. Also, that those worlds being made up of randomization land parcels. So basically, in the world, how it works, if you guys don't know anything about Crowfall, every so often the world completely gets destroyed and gets rebuilt. So when you go to a map, it's never if you go to a map within, I think it's going to be a couple weeks that it gets renewed, you won't have the same map, and resources will be in different locations. Everything's going to be completely randomized, so that really awesome spawn point that you can farm this specific item from, or this specific good from, won't be there once the world is destroyed and rebuilt. You have to re-find it, and it might be in enemy territory this time, or it might be, it might be a little bit harder to get, or it might be really easy for you to get depending on where it lands. So it's making it so that it's always new and fun, and it's not like you're going to be doing the exact same thing from day one to year one, They're also talking about stitching these things seamlessly so players can run from one section to the next, and there'll be no loading or zone boundaries.
That's the thing I'm most excited about, because Indigo and I play Crowfall because we supported it, and the one thing I don't like about it is that it's the smallest thing ever. Like there's no exploration or like open world, which kind of defeats the MMO for me.
What we've gotten to play is the PvP matches.
Yeah, so, and the reason that we're only playing those is because this isn't done yet. They haven't finished the open world yet, and that's what this is going to bring us, the players. It's going to bring us an open world that we can walk around and explore and like do MMO things, discover like little hidden things, and like kill mobs and find elite mobs, and open world PvP that is completely non-structured, which is my favorite kind of PvP. That's the thing I'm most excited about. I want that moved up on the priority list to like up here, so that I can get in, make a character who's playing. Anyways,
I'm gonna keep going down the list. They're also looking at upping the overall long periods, i.e. days instead of hours, for persistent worlds. So, for example, you have a change in time in the world, you have change in weather, and instead of those changes happening in hours, they'll actually happen in days.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, exactly. Which means that they've actually got to create enough environment situation to last 24 hours, and then multiple days on top of that.
Right.
Yeah, which I think is really cool, and I mean, I don't know how I feel about it, because I do like sometimes playing and it being rainy in the world. But if it's going to be like days where it's like it's going to take days for it to be a different change of weather, I don't know.
I like it when it mirrors the real world. I don't mind it depends on how they implement rain. Like sometimes rain is really obtrusive and kind of obnoxious. Sometimes it's cool. Sometimes it just adds a little bit of atmosphere. So if they do it right, this could be great. This one's also exciting, supporting dozens of combatants with 30 FPS. Oh, yeah, do that for me, baby.
They've already shown what it looks like with having a bunch of people running around and just attacking and moving around, and how much detail that they want to have in what range increments. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to be able to see the archers, pattern on their clothing when they're, 100 yards away. But as they get closer, you'll be able to get more and more detail from them, and trying to make that as smooth and less
not
steppy.
just like texture snapping in randomly.
Exactly.
Which is fair.
And then the last thing that they're working on as their top priorities, new respawn rules to accommodate larger content. So instead of having single point respawn locations, they're looking at having multiples and having rules of, instead of like, oh, you're exactly this close to this point, so you're actually going to respawn at this one's point, kind of like how WoW does it, and actually all MMOs do it, of, hey, you're within proximity of this one, even though it's on the other side of the mountain, and now you have to walk all the way around the mountain to get to this specific point where your dead body is. They're trying to come up with rules so that it's not just close proximity, boom, you're there.
Right.
It's makes more sense. Oh, there's a wall there. They're going to actually spawn here because it's, it's less of a pain in the ass. After they work on that, they've got a follow-up list, which is resource spawning and harvesting by players instead of factories. I don't know a tremendous amount about the crafting system. They've discussed a little bit of how resource gathering will be. They haven't gone into crafting as a whole yet because I think it's still on their docket to be working on. Crafting as a whole, crowdfunding entitlement, i.e. giving backers a test copy of the building in their
cool.
pledge packages. Yeah, so Krug and I both pledged, and because both of us pledged, we will also get additional stuff. So it's they're just trying to get people to like, hey, you get to play with this before the game goes live.
I'm super okay with them putting that on the back burner though. Like, I would so much rather them do anything else that was said before they work on that. Like, if I don't see that until the day the game comes out, I will be a happy camper.
Sure. And then building placements in 3D world by players instead of pre-built by us.
Oh, shit.
So if what that means is right now it's items can only be placed in like sockets to use what Wildstar uses.
Yeah.
They're saying, hey, we want to be able to make it so that you can put it anywhere you want, so that it is
there's not predefined locations. There's just like maybe like terrain variables, like if this ground is at this angle, then don't allow them to place it. But it's not just going to be like you can put it here or here or here. It's going to be you can't put it in areas that look like this kind of situation, which like WoW uses sockets, Wildstar uses sockets for some of its like more elaborate things that you can place. Like, not everything in Wildstar has to be put in a socket, but a lot of the bigger things do have to be put in a socket. I can't think of a game that is an MMO that has that kind of system that doesn't use sockets at least a little bit. So if they can get rid of it altogether, that'd be pretty sick.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I just to remind you, this is content that they're planning on working on this month. This isn't content that they're planning on only working on between now and launch. This is their priorities for this month between founder updates.
Right.
And then the last thing that they've got on there is what they call time permitted. We hope to also include improved or new chat system, improved and new setting screens, improved and new skills system, improved and new team selection, and new localization tools.
They do mean before launch, right?
This is this month. Month.
Okay.
Yeah. I literally just said that.
I know, but when I hear that, I keep thinking, I know he's the timeline, but I'm sitting there thinking, oh god, I hope that this is actually does happen in general.
This is what they're talking about for this month. Between this founder update and next, this is their high priority. Eventually, these things that are on their high priority will disappear, and the low priority stuff will be moving upwards.
Right.
Like a priority list works.
Good shit.
Well, no, I know Doc hates the UI.
I think it needs to be improved, but then again, I also know that this is alpha, so the UI is definitely going to change. So.
It is going to change. I mean, I wouldn't expect drastic changes. I think they're very, very adamant about keeping it simple and simplistic. But that is actually going to lead us into the next thing, which is the Myrmidon power and UI changes.
Ooh. I really like this video in this post. Is really cool.
Why is that?
So he's this, I don't know this developer's name, but he's in Unity making the Myrmidon's rage ability, and you get to, like, from nothing, watch him make the ability. It's the coolest thing ever. So he basically, like, says, okay, well, what do we want this ability to do? We want it to Every time we take damage, we heal for that same amount, and at the very end, we want to take all the damage that we just took, that we healed for, in one big chunk. And so he makes the ability that, like, he makes the little thing that tracks how much damage you're taking, and then every second it like looks at how much damage you took, and then it heals you for that much damage, and then resets that number to 0. And then like he made a different variable to track like the total amount of damage, and then to like do that much damage to you 0.35 seconds after you get healed for the total amount. And it's just super cool to watch him do it. And it actually doesn't look that complicated. And I think a lot of that is because they have all these variables like set up already.
Oh yeah,
and stuff like that.
They've done all of the dirty work
already.
Because
you look
really boring.
Yeah, you look at the stats, like he opens up a drop down that's just like stat variables, and it's just like, okay, and then I'm gonna go to H, and then I'm gonna scroll to health, and then it's just like a scroll. All right, there's health, click, and I'm just like, what were all those stats? What the fuck are you tracking? What's going on? It's so much stuff. But yeah, again, you know, if you watch the show at all, that I fucking love the back end stuff. So if you also like the back end stuff, highly recommend every single Crowfall
things
video.
are always the best.
Yeah, it's great. But anyways,
it has this like sense of attachment to the player and the game when they get to see the meat being made.
Yeah, exactly. Well, something else that they are showing off for the first time, which is actually the skill tree and like ability, not skill tree. Let me rephrase that. The power bar. And it shows you which abilities you will have attached to which positions and how they are comboed upwards. So, for example, your left click is... Ooh, that fucked my screen up. It did. All right, now that I'm back. So your left click is your basic attack, which will combo into 2 other abilities if you use your left click a second and third time. Same with cast net, which your cast net will either go into a charge or a net pull. Your, let's see, what's another good one? Bloodied swipe will either turn into a gore or turn into a colossus smash. And so it shows you what those abilities are, which we didn't get to see until now. And then the last piece is the actual addition to the UI to showing you your rage, your build up.
Oh yeah, the rage timer, right? The little heart at the end that pumps.
Yeah, exactly. It's a little heart that is empty and it fills up over time, and it allows you to use it accordingly.
Right. Yeah, it's really interesting stuff if you're into game development at all. Honestly, I'd venture to say that if you're into video games at all, these are really interesting videos, but I could just be really objectively like projecting my opinions onto you. And I don't want to do that. So just give it a shot, you know? It's pretty cool. I think you'll like it.
And then the last thing of Crowfall that I will talk to you guys about, which is Murder of Crows.
Yeah, what the fuck is Murder of Crows? I haven't heard of this before.
So Murder of Crows is basically their behind the scenes video about different people. So this one is on Todd Coleman, which is the co-founder of Artcraft, which is the company that is making Crowfall. So so Krug actually was like, this is part 1. There's going to be a part 1 and a part 2, as far as I'm aware, of Todd Coleman's extensive history and how he got into the gaming industry and where and how he got to where he is now. And it's really, really interesting because he's like, I think the line he says is, he lives off of the mentality that some people start in QA and move their way up. He's like, I just kind of just pretended like I knew what I was doing until people started following me, and then hope that it worked for the best. And that's not a direct quote. That's just kind of what he was saying. Because he said, he was saying that Crowfall is actually the 4th project that he's put together as the founder for. And then one of them was a failed program, which was super nerdy, like data recovery for like taxes and blah, 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 blah. It was stupid. No, it wasn't stupid. It was just, it wasn't the most
not related thing to what
unrelated.
we're talking about. Yeah.
And then it goes all the way up to his timeline of his first project in the gaming industry that he put together. And so I thought it was really interesting, which if you don't know is Shadowbane. So
Shadowbane was like the big hype for Crowfall. Like, oh shit, Shadowbane team members are doing this game?
Exactly.
I did not know that.
Yeah. And so this is him getting to Shadowbane, and then part 2 will continue from Shadowbane until where he is now. But it's really funny because it's one of those kind of like documentary-esque thing where someone's sitting there talking about it, and then they show like old ass photos of these people slash show like humorous like, oh, and then I picked up and I moved to Dallas, and then they showed, you know, the hillbilly family getting in their truck and driving over to Hollywood, you know, just humorous stuff like that. It's a cool video if you're interested in knowing a little bit more about the game company itself. If you're not really sure if you want to invest or really want to put the time and money into it, this is a cool video that can add to your knowledge about these guys. I say this every week we talk about Crowfall. I love the amount of honesty and openness that they are, and I'm super happy that they're able to do that because they're being crowdfunded. That being said, that's my Crowfall spiel for the week.
Boom!
Boom.
The mic is dropped.
So we have like 15 minutes left roughly in the show, and
we have 9 minutes.
I'm trying to like not go back to my Olympic coverage because people are like, "Dude, did you hear about this and that?" I'm like, "Oh!" But I also want to talk to you guys more importantly because obviously another huge release is happening this year. It's gonna be WoW Legion, and they're doing something that you don't see often, or it's done a whole lot in this way that other games are just not bothering to do. And I see that in the case of Legion with all of this lore stuff. They're not talking about the game as much anymore. Yeah. And they haven't really been for a while. Like, they just simply said, for the first 2 or 3 months in Legion's being in development, artifacts, levels, level 110, demon hunters, blah, blah. In the last, 4 or 5 months, it's been comics, it's been videos, it's been a audio blog that just came out, an audio drama. And I'm curious to how you guys feel about that. And this is not like, oh, it's lore, blah, blah, blah. But do you feel this stuff actually does it a benefit that maybe other games should try to find a similar avenue? Because typically it's just blog posts. This is the content. Have fun. And WoW's like, yeah, no, here's a whole thing about fucking Illidan for 5 minutes. This looks fucking awesome, right?
I love it. Let me rephrase that. I love most of it. So I've definitely watched all the Harbinger videos. I've checked out the comics. I like the comics. I tried listening to the audio drama and I couldn't do it.
It's so good.
No, well, it may be good. I didn't enjoy the sound quality. The sound quality wasn't to my liking, and there was a lot of stuff that I had no idea what the fuck was going on. I was like,
I would
who's
blame,
talking to what when they're?
For that.
What'd you say?
I'd blame YouTube's compression algorithm for that.
Yeah.
Quality being not very great. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what it was, but it wasn't the best audio quality. I was like, I expect way more from Blizzard than that.
So,
you know what I mean?
Because I'm a lore dude, I'll try and like make this as concise as I can. They had 4 comics that came out detailing events and preluding to events that are going to happen in Legion. One with the High Mountain Tauren, which explains why we're even there in High Mountain in the first place and how they're tied into Legion nonsense. One with the dwarves and their political strife and what happens to their leader, who, if you've been playing that game for a long time, you realize had disappeared 3 expansions ago, and the ramifications of that and why he's even back again in the big picture. One about High Mountain, the Night Elves, the new Night Elf factions coming in, and why we even have another thing of Night Elves when we already had the Blood Elves and the High Elves and the Night Elves. And then one about a new major character not new, but a revamped major character for the Alliance in the form of Anduin Rin. Then he had Harbingers, which was backstories of Gul'dan. They also had what happened to Khadgar, which was tied into the audio drama that just came out. And then finally, a little more backstory on the Grunt Demon Hunters, the Illidari that Illidan did. And what they're basically doing is they're showing little bits of this backstory and giving like reasons for what's happening, and little bits and pieces kind of like staying into like their in-game mechanics. Like, Demon Hunters can do the I-beam thing. Look at this in a little high and trend-drawn image.
Yeah.
And it makes me really, really want more of that from other games. Like, Wildstar did it for a while, and I loved it when Wildstar did it. We're talking about Crowfall, and they're doing a whole bunch of technical stuff, but I'm really curious as to, like, what is up with the world of Crowfall and why I should be interested in it. Blade and Soul, once you're in the game, you get it, but, like, there's nothing really outside of the game that I find that interesting about it or that I've even found about it.
Yeah.
I wish more games would be more interested in taking risks on stuff like that. And I know WoW has the luxury of it because They've been doing it for 12 years, and they have the
they've
budget
got the
for
money.
it. Yeah. But I wonder if that could really benefit some of these unknown games. Where like Albion Online, what's up with this world?
Mhm.
Like, what's up with it? If it's just a randomly generated procedure world, why should I care about it? Once I get in there, I could probably care about it. But if I'm on the fence still, knowing about it would probably help, right? Maybe.
No, I'm with you. I love that they're doing this. I'm super supportive that they're doing this. And while some of the platforms may not be for me, it's gonna be for someone. Someone's gonna enjoy it. Someone may like it, and I'm glad that they're doing it and they're going about it in a completely different route. I do agree. Wildstar did this in the very beginning, and we loved it. We were super hyped for it when they were doing it, and then they stopped doing it and started doing their releases like on Tuesday at 3 p.m. By the way, the game's coming out tomorrow. Like, single tweet, nothing exciting about it, nothing.
Yep.
Like, it's like you do know people need to get hyped about it before you make a release, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's not helping anyone. Like, I get it, you're excited about releasing it, but not everyone knows about it. Like, get it in the game.
Black Desert Online. I have no fucking idea what that world's about.
Yeah, I don't either.
I kind of get it. Playing it made more sense if they would have embraced the wuxia zaniness outside of like in their promotional materials. It'd be a little more fun. Whilst there's a brand new raid that's really tied into their lore, I hope some more lore stuff comes in for that as like part of their promotional material.
And not Lore-mageddon.
Crowfall has
that's the issue. Like, don't do Lore-mageddon because that's not helpful. Giving people a wall of text is not as helpful as creating a piece of content that is a unique, interesting way for people to get
Overwatch did it right. Overwatch did it right with the videos and the fucking the comics. Like, they had a piece of content for every kind of consumer, whereas just text wall doesn't really drive with many people.
Yeah. Well, Lore-mageddon's great for established fans because it's exactly what they want in an avenue that they're used to seeing, and they're cool with it because they know that they can get the other content elsewhere, and it's more of expanding upon what's interesting for them. They've now got this new big piece of content coming out. Why should Joe Schmo EverQuest 2 player be interested in Red Moon Rising?
Exactly. There's
and not just it's a new raid. Well, okay.
That's only going to get the people that played it or gave it a try once or twice to possibly come back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So,
I don't know.
It's just thinking about that since we had a few minutes to kill and I just want to think about it. Plus, I just found out that there's a boxer that just got caught at Olympic Village for a sex attack. Woo! Rio Games!
For a what attack?
For a what attack?
Over a sexual attack. A boxer from Morocco tried to sexually assault somebody. Good job, Rio Olympics.
Welp. Awkward.
And a track and field manager got caught trying to bribe someone for a drug test. It gets even better. A Saudi judoka won't fight an Israeli judoka over principle, even though they're both supposed to compete. Like, he just straight up didn't show up. Okay, you know what? We're going to end this now. I need to find a stream. And then where can we find you?
Best way to find me is on Twitter at IndigoQT, or you can email me at indigo@QueueTimes.com.
Krug, where can we find you?
At QueueQT on Twitter. You can also email me. My email address is krug@QueueTimes.com. If you want to email all three of us, you can email yell@QueueTimes.com. What about you, Doc?
They're playing the North Imperial March at the Olympics. You can find me at Twitter at RockDraws. This week I'm going to try and get at least one more stream in. I got a very busy week ahead of me, so talk to me there.
Cool.
Until then, we will see you guys next week. If you guys want, just come by to twitch.tv/QueueTimes at 3 p.m. 3 p.m.?
Yes.
5 p.m. Pacific. Yeah, Pacific.
Wow.
Standard. But you said yes. I was like, wait, what the fuck? We'll see you guys next week.
Mwah.
See you guys on the
forums.
forums.
That was the worst outro I've ever heard in my life.